How do you change? Because the power structure will always, as long as we desire leadership, you're always going to have power mongers trying to get those positions. If you want people to...
That's why you got to have small government so power mongers can never have a mechanism to be able to carry out their operation.
Yeah, no, certainly.
So that's why big banks will fund both sides of a war, because it's actually building their power up through the crisis. It allows a bigger state to be grown.
So are you an anarchist?
Not completely. I mean, the real political spectrum is no government on one end, total government on the other, not left-right. Because, you know, the right brings you big government, the left brings you big government. It's a false dichotomy, only about 100 years old. Before that, left-right dealt with mysticism, the left-hand path, the right-hand path. One was, you know, supposedly female, one male, or one deceptive, devilish, one, you know, good.
See, this is what I was talking about, the inside of your brain, where you had me for a minute, and then mysticism, and then one synapse in your head.
No, but I was saying, until about 100 years ago, the left-right paradigm was not taught. It was liberty versus tyranny, and there was a debate about what is liberty, what is tyranny. And so you could have a real debate. But once they created the left-right paradigm, it's all within tyranny's orbit. And so it's a false choice question. And so that's what's going on. And so I
think 100 years ago, when you had a town crier and one local newspaper, and most people knew, again, it comes down to overpopulation. When humanity's just like any other commodity, where the more you have, the less the value. I believe that, and I think the more people, when you're trying to talk about, a government, what 300 million people we have in this country, you can't judge that. You can't rule that like it's a community. So yeah, you should have.
But I mean, they admit Homeland Security helped produce 24, teach people torture, secret arrest is good. I mean, the globalists admit they want us to be immoral, and you can judge, well, what's immoral? You know, some people say, well, this kind of sex isn't immoral, but torture is, and then they'll say, well, no, you're not allowed to make a moral judgment. But they're coming from their own sickening moral perspective.
All right, but you're acting like people don't want to watch that naturally, 24 and torture and stuff. We were kids. We watched Faces of Death when that video came out. It was the most, that was the biggest thing to do as a 13-year-old kid, was get that copy of Faces.
I remember, but I didn't like it.
Yeah, but no one was pushing that on you. Of course, you didn't like it, but you looked. Yes, there's in
Saudi Arabia when they're chopping heads off and
exactly,
car wrecks and.
You can't act.
Alligators eating people.
Putting 24 on to teach you torture. Well, people want to see that regardless.
Yeah, but it took the torture but made it good. Before they'd always said it was bad, but you'd still watch the torture. Now they're saying, no, it's good.
I think overall,
see, people 50 years ago weren't wimps, but when they saw torture or violence, it became upsetting because they associated it with real things. Now we see humans being killed, we can't get upset, but Marines throw a puppy off a cliff, everybody goes into, heart attack mode because we haven't dehumanized the puppy yet. It's the same thing. I killed an iPad 2 weeks ago, and I got like 300,000 views or something, and people were freaking out over the iPad because it had more value to them than their fellow humans.
Well, again, yes.
But my whole point is that when they give up
the market with humans, iPads are new.
Yeah, but when we don't have value for other humans, we lose our value. And then people stop valuing themselves and stop having larger and better goals, and so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Sure.
I mean, my God, listen, you say you've given up on a lot of things, but then, and you're telling people not to breed, and I don't think you should commit suicide, you and your girlfriend, and your neighbor you brought with you, but, I mean, that's the logical extension. And there actually are some families that are killing themselves now in the news. I'm sure you've seen that. For the earth.
I have, I have.
They're killing their babies.
That is a door that's.
The UN says
me that I.
Well, a lot of UN officials say they want to start killing babies after they're born.
All right, come on, break that down for me.
No, I mean, Peter Singer and a lot of these top globalists say they want to be able to kill old people, and they also want to be able to let people kill their kids up until about age 2.
Just randomly,
well, for the earth. I mean, if you want to kill your,
Yeah, no, suicide is definitely an option for me. It's something I consider.
Well, they actually have. I forget the name of the group. We've had them on. They actually have an organization that recommends people commit suicide.
Yeah. I think it's a cute website to send people to, but.
Oh, you've seen it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Come on with my.
But you're not going to commit suicide.
Not at this point, but when things get ugly, I'm not going to be someone on life support, fighting for my last breath life's not that good. It's pretty boring after a while. You get to a point where you go, all right, I've done all the drugs.
See, I don't need drugs. I mean, I drink coffee and stuff, but I don't need drugs. I mean, some days it's just so beautiful. I mean, what is it about the human psyche and engineering that we know a sunset's beautiful, that we see an ocean is beautiful, that we see birds nesting, you know, on the eave of your house?
I got with Alex Jones saying positive things.
No, I talk about it all the time with, you know, their beautiful blue feathers and little silver gold chests. I have these swallows, and you know, 3 or 4 generations at my house now know me, and they like me, almost land on my shoulder. You know, I mean, they're seeing the beauty in the world. I see the beauty in the world. I don't think there's too many swallows. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them. I probably got 50 of them at my house.
I just pictured Alex Jones as Dr. Dolittle with birds landing on his shoulders. It was a pretty vision.
And I come out at night, and there's a little lamp post, you know, there, and I see the fat little geckos, their little pink bellies eating bugs. I mean, I like life. I like human life.
Yeah, I'm not against it. I'm just saying it gets kind of boring after a while.
Watching fat pink geckos never gets boring. My dad's got a big telescope, and you can, like 300 yards away, look at your neighbor's lamp. And I'm not trying to, to look at a naked lady. We don't want to see that. We want to see geckos hunting, not knowing they're being watched.
Yeah, sounds pretty.
You seen how cute they are?
Yeah, I've seen little geckos.
They're little pink feet. We have like the albino ones around here, but
our cats eat them all the time.
Yeah,
we have to save them because animals are awful. They kill for fun.
And I know I'm boring you talking about pink-bellied geckos.
No, I think it's beautiful. That's what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear joyous Alex Jones stories.
But see, good environmentalism, not killing elephants, not killing whales, not killing creatures that are, higher on the order similar to us. That's why we recognize them and know it's important not to do that. Educating people and saying no to that and with our choices is important. And that's all the good stuff they tag on to environmentalism. But the engine pulling it is cold-hearted banks that want to train us to have all our resources cut off.
And, so let's just quit, go to Costa Rica, and start a banana farm, and enough of all this, life of luxury we have.
Well, the problem is, I do think all the time about getting a farmhouse and just stopping everything. Because I do understand I'm totally obsessed with this, and it's just taking everything over. Because I can't unplug it. Even when I'm in the woods with my kids, it's all going on.
Yeah, no, it would be nice if there was, some empty land that we could continue manifest destiny and leave this behind and, go take over our own plot, Antarctica, but I hate the cold. When
you started unplugging from, quote, conspiracies and research, I mean, did it wind down your anxiety level, your concern?
Oh, yeah. It definitely did. I live fat and happy most days. I'm not all that concerned.
Now, I mean, 8 years ago, you were doubting me on 9/11 and other things, a little bit more skeptic. But then I did hear and see some of your videos. You got in the last 4 or 5 years a little more, into the conspiracy stuff. But now you're saying you're getting out of it. I mean, what woke you up to start looking into it more?
I think the first thing I remember, I don't know if it was Lies My Teacher Taught Me by Lowen or the Disinfo book, You Were Being Lied To, was just mind-blowing to me with Oklahoma City, the brigadier general who testified that there was no way an ANFO bomb could create that kind of...
The head of Air Force Weapons Development, Ben Parton,
Yeah, and stuff like that. It was mind-blowing, and then I went from there, and I'd read other books, and I'd watch other videos, and I'd, go to websites, and at some point you go, this really has nothing to do with me. I'm so upset about all these things that I'm not enjoying my life at all. And a lot of the things that I believe are true. Operation Northwoods, again, once you read a document like that, you go, this is an open, declassified document. Yes, anything's possible. Anything else you say, I have to give some credibility to that could be true because I've seen enough things that are true. But you go, I don't care. Honestly, Alex, I don't care. It's not affecting me.
But once more people get the attitude, because a lot of people do get into this stuff, and then they pull out. It overwhelms them.
Yes.
And they kind of get learned helplessness, and they just pull back.
Right.
And a lot of people don't get learned helplessness. They charge forward and have success, and then it can become destructive because they get too much into it.
I'm working on a book right now, and it's about being an armchair revolutionary. how to do simple things in your own life where you're fighting back a little bit so you don't feel like you're just turning a blind eye, but you feel like you're doing something in your community. You're doing something.
Well, you haven't given up then.
No, I've given up what you do, is like raging against the world. And I've tried to find smaller ways that I can actually make a difference.
When is Armchair Revolutionary coming out?
As soon as I write this stupid thing.
That's a great name. We've got on the website.
Yeah, well, you get to a point where hey, I'm fat and 43, and I'm not going to go get tear gassed at a WTO riot. I don't have the nuts that you have.
Well, I don't always go.
Well, but you're out there with your face in it and the bullhorn and the faces of the powers that be, and most people aren't going to do that. But there's other ways and other.
Well, but I mean, if we do just give up, though, they're going to win for sure. But so I'm glad to hear that you're going to be doing some things against this. But the problem is, I think on a lot of fronts, you're going to be, the way you see to rebel is actually going to empower the system.